r/AskReddit. What shouldn't exist, but does? Child beauty pageants. Frank Reynolds' Little Beauties. We do not diddle kids. It's no good diddling kids. That little voice on the back of your head that tells you to jump when you stand on the edge of a cliff like, why brain? Me standing next to boiling oil, my brain. Dump it on your feet. I get this when cooking. Stick your hand on the ducking grill. The Salton Sea, California's largest lake. The most recent inflow of water from the now heavily controlled Colorado River was accidentally created by the engineers of the California Development Company in 1905. In an effort to increase water flow into the area for farming, irrigation canals were dug from the Colorado River into the valley. The canals suffered silt buildup, so a cut was made in the bank of the Colorado River to further increase the water flow. The resulting outflow overwhelmed the engineered canal, and the river flowed into the Salton Basin for 2 years, filling the historic dry lake bed and creating the modern sea. Before repairs were completed, the sea has occurred naturally several times in the past, but its current iteration is an accident. Dig a little deeper and it turns out investors have bought up cheap land near the Salton Sea and have plans to develop it as a beach community. Actually, it was a beach community years ago. Thing is, because it has no outflow, the water is stagnant as duck, and therefore dangerous to be in. Further, the salt level increases as time goes on, and water evaporates away, so nothing can live there. They did have it stocked with fish when it was a resort, but then the salt levels became too high for anything to live, so beachgoers woke up one morning to everything dead in the sea, and a horrible smell. The place is mostly abandoned, except for a few people still living there for reasons I can't fathom. I've been near the area, but never at the Salton Sea itself. You can smell it from quite a ways away, and I live not far from the Great Salt Lake, another very smelly lake. I fished there for red snapper back in the day. It has always stunk from the high sulfur content, and the fishing was the most amazing ever. We caught dozens of red snapper and catfish, probably 40-50. Bedbugs. These creatures, really the worst. Mosquitos? Edit. My single most upvoted comment is just a single misspelled word, MK. Package thieves. I was praying every day throughout the Christmas season for my packages not to get stolen. I hate those ducking thieves. I started using Amazon Locker for the first time once it started to close to the Christmas season. Well, for the stuff that would fit, I'm still using it now. It's a great perk. Drivers that refuse to lower their high beams at night or to use signal lights. Or that one jackass on the road who has a headlight out, so instead of replacing it he just keeps his high beams on. You're not fooling anyone, dude. I always felt like cops would be less likely to get if you just rolled with one light. That high beam can be straight up dangerous. Cheap ass paper stickers on new products that are impossible to peel off. Social media influencers. Especially duck the ones that go to Auschwitz for photo shoots. Edit to add. Here's 2 examples of the shit. Here's one. https://old reddit /trashy comments ahx3fq another lovely day at Auschwitz. Here's another. https://old reddit /trashy comments ah7/photo shoot at Auschwitz. The Berlin Holocaust Memorial is a disturbingly popular choice too. Truck nuts. My friend has truck nuts on his Honda Insight. Your friend is an anarchist. Sushi at gas stations. For Christmas my dad got me a Bluetooth frisbee that's supposed to connect to your phone and play music. It doesn't make any sense to me why this thing seemed like a good idea to make. It's heavy. It sounds like crap. You're supposed to throw this speaker that's supposedly playing music you like away from you when you get it, plus it's limited on how far you can throw it because it's connected to your phone. Also it's hard to carry because it's so big, so it wouldn't even be fun to bring anywhere even if you need a Bluetooth speaker. Why? Edits. Thank you kind stranger for the silver edited first sentence for clarity. It plays whatever you tell it to, not just Christmas music. For those who asked for a link, here it is. They must have known it was terrible because it's marketed as a flying sound disc instead of a frisbee. Rip my inbox. Today I learned frisbee is a trademark of Whammo. Buddy, you're supposed to tape your phone to it so you don't lose Bluetooth connectivity. Come on now. Bank transaction fees. Yes, I love the yes, let me pay you to have access to my money. Edit. I have problem paying my monthly fee. It's the constant ATM fees. I love the it looks like you don't have any money, so we're going to charge you a fee. Thankfully my bank has a 24-hour grace period, so I can usually transfer in $1 from Square or something. Mosquitoes. Why can't they be an integral part of the food chain without the whole blood-sucking deal? God, because duck you. That's why. Measles shouldn't exist anymore. Then anti-vaxxers did their thing. That and a whole host of easily vaccinated diseases. I just had a son 5 months ago, and the fact that whooping cough is a thing I have to worry very seriously about is a load of bullshit. I get the feeling that a lot of people think diseases like whooping cough, measles, and mumps aren't serious illnesses because of their funny sounding names. They don't realize that they can be very painful, occasionally fatal, and can lead to lifelong medical problems or disfigurement. Hyper-realistic tattoos of porn stars with facials and yet, open bracket, NSFW, https, imgur.com/1lookkai6v, jpg https, imgur.com vf4hwnm, jpg. That kinda made me want to gag. Careful, you'll wind up someone's tattoo. Crummy bathroom paper towel dispensers. I can never get a full piece, only chunks at a time. Edit. My karma quintupled because of my comment. Feels good, man. Edit. My first silver. Woohoo. That lever Kronk pulls when Isma tells him to pull the lever. Why did they even have that lever? This is my favorite one in the thread, but that's the truck lever. Edit. Trick lever, but I'm gonna leave it. Truck lever, pull the lever. Kronk. Movie transitions to a Ford F350 commercial. Depression. My brain. Hate yourself me. But why? My brain. Just do it. Edit. Oh wow, my first silver. Cool. Edit 2. Now I've got one of everything. Can't wait to pass these on to others. Thank you. Flat earthers. I remember around 07 I stumbled on a flat earther site and it seemed like it was being done as obvious satire. The idea that there's a huge ice wall encircling our planet that is filled with the shadow government just seemed patently ridiculous. Now that shit's everywhere. Felt exactly the same. Thought it was just comedy or satire at first. Then people started taking it seriously. Things tend to go downhill pretty quickly if people start taking things serious. The Westboro Baptist Church. Basically a hate group. Hate cult. Velvet pumpkins with real stems, just why? I don't know why, but I like them. I really like velvet fabric and like how pumpkins look, but don't wanna deal with real pumpkins and them rotting and shit. I wouldn't mind if the stems were metal or something instead, though. Rankly incompetent middle management. Only thing worse is rankly incompetent upper management. Pretty much anything Gwyneth Paltrow sells on her website. The secret cure to all illnesses is shoving various rocks up your kitten. Crohn's. If you do die from it, it's slow and somewhat painful. The time I was diagnosed I was 14 and weighed 67 pounds. Open bracket. Edit. Holy crap, gold. I just posted this for fun while waiting in the doctor's office. Thanks my guys. Open bracket. Edit 2. I have been overwhelmed by today. Posting a comment I thought won't go anywhere turned into my most upvoted longest thread I have. Also, whoever gave me platinum, you're insane, but thank you. Damn. Thanks for the reassurance. Open bracket. 20 euro. 108 lbs. My worst was when I was 22 and 75 pounds. I'm 5 feet 5. The Last Airbender movie. You seem stressed and need a vacation. The Earth King invites you to /Lake Laogai. Pedophiles and animal abusers. Also everything that's inedible but still is bacon flavored. If pedophiles didn't exist, I wouldn't have a job. Sad but true. Edit. I work in rehabilitation and reintegration. Are you a freelance murderer? Logan Paul. The guy below you already said cockroaches. Cancer. Duck cancer. I don't think there's one person that likes cancer, so just duck right off. While I do hate cancer, not the disclaimer I thought I'd need today, the reason it's inevitable is that it's literally just a byproduct of a very natural and necessary mechanism of life. Cellular division is necessary for growth. The more cells that divide, the greater chance one mutates. Most mutations are benign and ignorable. Some are great and drive evolution of useful traits. However, some are bad, yet programmed to reproduce and survive like all other cells, and that gives you cancer. Cancer is awful, but the mechanism is life itself. MLM scams. The only thing worse than being pitched a MLM scam is having a job interview that turns out to just be an elaborate MLM pitch. Edit. I'm sorry that so many of you have had this experience, but also glad that I'm not the only one. Oh yeah, I got tricked into one of those once. I had gotten laid off from my job, and as a requirement for me to continue to receive unemployment, I had to meet with a caseworker once a month and she would work with me on job hunting skills. One of the requirements was that I post my resume on the state workforce website. Well, one day I get a call out of the blue from this guy claiming he just opened a business that was something related to my field, and he saw my degree and my age and said I would be an excellent candidate for one of his entry-level professional positions. Something seemed kind of off because he was being vague and wouldn't state the name of the company, and he also kept me on the phone pretty long for it just being a call to set up an interview. It seemed kinda red flag why, but when he gave me an address, I googled it to make sure it was a business and not some private residence. It was in a shopping center, so I thought duck it. Can't hurt to go. At least I won't be murdered. I get there and it's a relatively empty office with only 2 or 3 other people present in the building. Guy claimed it was because the company was new, so there weren't a lot of decor or files around yet. As the interview went on, I noticed the guy was talking more and more about the company and wasn't actually interviewing me. The interview sounded more like a sales pitch. I ended up there for over an hour, just listening to him go on and on about this great opportunity. He wouldn't let me get a word in. At some point he pulled out my training folders and he tried to hand them to me. I looked down at them and asked, "Am I hired? What about pay? What would my schedule be? I am sorry, I am kind of confused." He picked them up and tried to hand me the folders again, assuring me, "Of course you are. You are a perfect fit. I just need you to sign some forms in here." Didn't answer any of my questions. He was pretty forceful trying to place these folders in my hand. I refused to take them by suddenly grabbing my purse, pulled out my phone, pretended like it was vibrating and said, "Oh shit, I have to take this," and literally ran out of the office. I ran to my car and left. Of course, the guy called me back like 5 times after I literally cursed in front of him and ran out of the interview. I ended up blocking the number. America, if anyone is curious as to which scam MLM it was. Those super bright headlights that temporarily blind you if you're going opposite ways or continuously blind you if they are driving behind you. Awful. Holocaust deniers. The fact that there are many of them out there is baffling. It's a crime in Germany to deny the Holocaust. I just don't understand the deniers' reasoning. Have they not seen the photos, videos, been to the concentration camps? There are many people still alive today who lived through that horror that have given their personal stories. I can't wrap my head around some crazy dude not thinking a school shooting happened or 9/11 was an inside job or whatever else. But denying the Holocaust just doesn't make sense. It was a global event affecting millions of people. They're all lying. Are you alright, the duck? There are many people still alive today who lived through that horror that have given their personal stories. To be honest, there aren't that many left alive today. The Holocaust happened 75-80 years ago. The youngest survivors are in their mid-70s. When Elie Wiesel died, I remember hearing that there were fewer than 100,000 left worldwide. That was almost 3 years ago, and I'm sure many more have died since then. Scientology. AIDS HIV. Kinda messed up how it came to existence. Also, the selfie stick. I prefer the term narcissistic. How it came to existence. How is that? Cockroaches. Dude, cockroaches will survive a nuclear winter if they had to. I swear I went to war when I found some in my apartment. They're not subtle like spiders or other bugs, they scurry around and do it fast. I was trying to squash one and I swear to God he jumped at my face like I was a dragon and he was a dragon slayer. He lived that jump but got squashed 10 minutes later. Yay man. I could spray the house with insect killers and I'll get spiders, mosquitoes, all sorts of insects on the floor and a couple of roaches. A few days later, they'll be back around the sink and garbage area. I believe these roaches outnumber people tbh. Catapults. Trebuchets are the superior siege weapons. Periods. Vaginal bleeding. The universe could have figured out another way. It could only bleed when going pee. That would be awesome. I swear our lives would be so much easier if we had a bladder for our periods. Like, oh, period time? Just sit on the toilet and let it rip, instead of ducking having it leak out of you for a week every month. Anti-vaxxers. Eventually they won't. Crosses vaccinated fingers. Rams Patriots Super Bowl. I wonder who the Patriots will play next year. Polio. Marshio. ATMs that charge you to get your own money out. Ticks. Those duckers carry around Lyme disease and only a select few animals sometimes eat them. They cause much more harm than good. Cancer. Astronomer here. Matter in the universe. To explain, it's relatively well understood in physics that you can get matter created so long as an antimatter particle gets created along with it. The two then basically immediately annihilate each other. So no worries. However, it's pretty obvious that this did not happen in the Big Bang. We obviously had more normal matter created than antimatter, else it all would have been annihilated and we wouldn't be here. Why? This is the problem called baryonic asymmetry, and is one of the most interesting questions at the merger of particle and astrophysics. Edit. A lot of questions about if the antimatter could in fact be out there and we just haven't discovered it. I mean, it's a bit universe. So maybe, it gets harder to figure out what galaxies super far away are made of though, because the spectra of those antimatter objects would be chemically the same as normal matter. And, of course, if all the antimatter from the beginning is now hanging out outside our observable universe, we would have no way of knowing about it. People also study this via particles flying all over the universe known as cosmic rays, which originated from places like the sun, or a supernova, or a black hole jet, or a myriad of other ways, and eventually reach Earth. It turns out 1% of all cosmic rays are positrons, aka the anti-electron, likely through various exotic processes. So, if antimatter exists in large amounts, it doesn't appear to be like that in our neck of the woods. It's a super fun topic to think about. People like Chris Brown. How the duck can such a piece of shit still be a star and not serve his due time in jail where he should rot? Why there are women in this world who would love to get beaten by him is beyond any comprehension or understanding, and the fact that this notion exists in anyone's mind is just unfathomable. I'd say about 2/3 of the content on the internet. Pharmaceutical commercials. Age prompt before any video. Please confirm that you are 18 plus before watching this video. Ads on Facebook videos. Pop-up ads. That weird font in Android phones that looks like it's drawn by a child. Gender reveal parties. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.